We are live, baby. We are
We
live, Cass.
live. Look at the pumpkins. I love the pumpkins on this. Everyone, welcome to AI Podcast Live, also known as Agency Intelligence, usually where we're giving you the real agent inside the real agencies doing the real agency intelligence and not the artificial that they try to make you believe out there. This is Cass. That's Gib. Gib, say what up.
What's going on, everybody? I'm looking forward to this first of its kind, I guess. Jason mentioned it like a break in the podcast mold. I actually didn't believe it until we actually were doing some test runs for the last couple of weeks on this show. And let me just tell you, technology makes things fun. Look at that thing. We got a little scrolling thing. It says, "Welcome to the Agency Intelligence Podcast Live Show." It's the first time Cass and I have been on a show one-on-one since he had me on his podcast back in 2020. So excited to be here. Excited to help try
Mitch,
to
what
make
are we
a
doing
difference.
differently? Why are we doing this? What's different about this?
The thing I like about it is, Jason, there's not a place where you can, get on a live podcast. There's times that I listen to even your shows or like, Bradley Flowers. I listen to some of his stuff. And when I'm listening to the show, I wish I could immediately like comment and get an answer and maybe have a discussion about it. So why not put that in a live format to give you, the audience, a chance to ask us questions, ask our guests questions, put your thoughts. Hey, maybe it's a real thing going on in your agency that everybody's
Right.
pissed off about. Let's have a discussion, see how we can make a difference and change things. So
And
when
it's going to
that
be
came to
real. It's going
mind,
to be the real events. We want to talk about real events. Like, let's talk about like some real stuff. Like, remember when Bob Rustbolt said some bullshit stuff on the stage and he lost his job for the big eye? We should have had a platform like this that we could have just all said whatever we wanted to say, right? We just needed to really get some stuff like that talking. And that's why we feel as if it's important. We're not talking about things that were 2 or 3 months ago. And also, as Mitch said, if your comment is so good, we want to bring you onto the show immediately. And so Mitch has got a way that so please, we're going to be watching that chat. And if you have something that you want to say, no matter what platform you're on, we're going to read it. And Mitch is going to send you the magic link that's going to bring you right on. And you can talk a little bit more about this. Look at it. Mitch doesn't play around, doesn't play. That's why I bring him with me. So the other thing is you're not going to just have one guest, right? We're going to have multiple guests. And also, I need to time out here. We're going to butcher the shit out of this, okay?
very true.
We
Very
really don't know
true.
what we're doing. So we're thinking of think of a sports show, right? Where we bring people in and bring people out. Today, we're going to have Ryan Hanley's going to be coming in. But you know him, he talks a lot. So we're going to kick his ass out after about 10 or 15 minutes. And we're going to bring in somebody else, and they're going to talk about their tech minute, their tech time. We're going to talk around 2 or 3 minutes about some kind of cool piece of tech. Then we're going to jump over to Jeff Roy, who he's going to talk to us north of the border up there from Excalibur Insurance. Got some awesome stuff that he's going to talk to you about, his leads and all the shit that he does. It's unbelievable. And then we're going to end it with the biggest story of the insurance industry yesterday. Mr. Davey Holt decided that he was going to move and come somewhere else, and we're going to bring him on as well. So fabulous show. Mitch, what do you think about that? I mean, did I leave anything out?
No, and I think you made up a really good point about the tech time, right? Like this isn't about us trying to talk about the technology maybe necessarily we use in our agencies or the ones you may hear all of us podcasters talk about. We want people to understand that there's tech out there that we've never even heard of.
That's right.
Things like, where can I find events? What events are going on? To how can I integrate a CRM that no one ever knew about into my Vertafore applied product?
Right.
It's questions that people don't understand, and that's the reason why we started Indie Tech and had that conference back in August, was so that we could legitimately show people and agents the different types of technology out there for you and your agency. And every agency is different. That makes it fun.
It's all about putting premium on the books, right? It's about putting premium on the books. It's the reason why we're watching this dumbass podcast. It's the reason why we're doing this podcast. It's all about getting better and putting premium on the books. The only way we're going to be able to put premium truly on the books as we go through this is we need to scale. The only way we can scale is through technology. But yet, when you go to your conferences, when you go to your events, there's usually hardly any tech companies there. It's usually carriers or aggregators or whatever. And that's why Mitch and I are trying to put a spotlight all the time on technology, because we see what it's done in our agency. We see what it's doing in other agencies. So that's why I think that tech time is really, really important. And if there's some other stuff that you want to see, right? If there's some other things that you want to see, or you're like, hey, Cass, or hey, Mitch, you should do this or that, that's what we're encouraging for. So I'm looking over here on the chat over here, and I
Look
don't
at
see
that. Look at that. He's sharing what's up, baby. Let's go.
How are you doing? I'm not seeing the chats over on my side. That's kind of weird. I don't know
cool
why.
enough. Cass ain't cool enough. He don't got the cool.
Not cool. I'm not cool. I'm not cool. Thank you very much. Miss Michelle Mosher says they love it. Okay. Hey, be sure to tell us where you're listening from. Oh, actually, it shows me. Got to get a bunch from YouTube. Wow.
Look at that. That's awesome. That's really cool. Ryan, my dude.
Hey,
Ryan's
anybody out there, if you think you have something to say, I'm going to give you 30 seconds. You say, hey, Cass, I got something to say. Mitch is going to give you the link, the special link, and we're going to bring you on here. We'll try and test that out right now. Hanley's going to be on here in about 4 minutes. And if you know him, he's probably going to be late, and then he won't shut up once he gets on. So hold on. Let's see what's going on here. Look at that. You can text that right there. And that, if you text that number and you email.
Yeah, so if you text that number with your email address, we will send you a link to join if we think that your chat is
if you have something good to say, right?
Yes, is a topic that we can discuss.
That's correct.
Or if you have a question if you have a question, just want us to answer it, just say, hey, I got a quick question. You can answer it. If you don't want to come on the show, so be it. That's your option, not ours.
That's right. Hanley will be on here pretty soon. So, hey, all the other stuff going out in the insurance industry, I want you to check out a place. I want you to look at it. It's called Ask Llama, I believe is what it is. A guy out there called Trace Meek. He's trying to create basically a chat GPT for the insurance industry. He actually has another insure tech thing that's called Fetch, I believe is what it is. And he loads underwriting guidelines into a computer so that in any state you're at, you can just search an underwriting guideline for a certain company.
And what's that called again?
I think it's called Fetch. Fetch. And then he has Ask Llama. And you know what? The damn thing might be just in freaking beta. It might not even be live yet. So I apologize. Trace Meek.
I'm sitting here trying to look it up just so I can
see what it's Anybody out there? I've got their cool piece of AI technology that they're using. And I would love. Okay, and Michelle Mosher says it is.
Fetch. She said Fetch is a nice product.
It is a very nice product. It's very cool, and I love it because it's indie tech, right? It's made by an agency owner, and I think that those are the essential ones.
Wow, the amount of it just blows my mind, even just from I haven't been in it quite as long as lots of other people have, but it's just amazing in the six short years that I've been an insurance producer, the amount of technology that has just surfaced. I mean, just surfaced galore. For me, it's like me at my age, scared for my kids to grow up, right? What does that look like in the future? And I think that's a question a lot of people have asked. What does the world of an independent insurance agent look like in 10 years from now, let alone 5?
And I know this sounds simple, but I think we know today more than we did 5 and 10 years ago. But let me explain. Obviously, that sounds like common sense, but let me explain. We've had this over the last 5 to 8 years where what we've been doing is we've been trying to learn who we are. Who are we as an agency, right? What is the customer we serve? Who trying to develop that is really what we've done. And what we did is we tried to find the technology that created who we were. But after going through this process as agents for the last 5 to 8 years and being surrounded by this technology, we're now realizing, shit, I had to figure out who I was first and then match the technology with that. Now we've come to that point in time, and I'm starting to see a kind of different flow from agents out there. Now it's, okay, I know who I am. I know the technology I need. Now I need to go find a group that does that, right? I need to find somebody who is really involved in Agency Zoom or Insured Mind or Applied, whatever it could possibly be, because that's kind of the hub. So I think you're going to see where we had a few big groups. I think you're going to see where we're going to have a bunch more groups, but it's going to be more spread based on that. It's 12:10 on the East Coast. They're different time. and this is Ryan Hanley. So when he comes on, everybody, I want you to just bust his balls and start putting
Please.
all kinds of stuff in there.
Please, because that's no excuse. I'm in Eastern time, and here I am on the call. So
That's a good point. That's a good point.
there's no excuse for the Eastern time zones. Probably because he got so used to giving me a hard time when the old agency I was with forever was on the IMAP system, and he told me to get with the program because I didn't have a scheduling, an automatic scheduler that sent something out to him. I'm like, dude, relax a little bit. Just give me a second.
And he's probably on punching bag. Do you think he's off the punching bag by now, or he's probably
no, he's running. He might be climbing a mountain or finding.
He doesn't run. He walks with a big like army vest on. Haven't you?
20-pound army vest.
You seen this shit on TikTok? So he hasn't shown up yet. So see, this is the problem with a live podcast is when the guest just doesn't show up. Like you just gotta kind of go for it. So here's what I was thinking the other day. I got an idea. You guys want to hear my idea? This is my idea.
I got an audience question. I think we should give the audience what they want.
Okay, I apologize, audience. It's not showing on my side the chat. I'm not seeing the chat. So
I got you, brother. Here you go. Here's our question from Ryan. If commercial questions are okay, do you guys, including Hanley, let's ask Hanley as well, use Simsi looking for feedback?
Interesting question. So
I have not used it, so I guiltily can't answer that question. I know a lot of people that do and say great things about him. So for what that's worth, Ryan.
Yes. And if anybody has Simsi and anybody wants to talk to Ryan about that, you can put in the chat like, Ryan, reach out to me or something like that. I just have not used Simsi. I've used Tarmica for a very short period, but we haven't used commercial raters.
Michelle said Mr. Hanley he's boxing.
He's boxing. He's got to be boxing. He's got to be boxing. I guess I should check my messages, but
if he doesn't come on, I mean, we've got plenty of stuff we can chat about. Moving forward here, so we'll give him a few more minutes. I'm actually enjoying the fact that I can sit here and decide what I want to put up on the screen for a second.
Here's the thing that I was thinking about. I'm talking to this guy yesterday, and he does telematics, right? I had a very good conversation with him. His name was Andrew something, fantastic gentleman, and he's been doing telematics his whole life and studying them and creating them and engineering these things. And I thought there was something interesting that we talked about there. When he talked about the fact that how we can use telematics and we can use it to, as we do with insurance and how it can make us and create us more safe and all those different things. I started thinking like, how Mitch, they have like a Google map, right? Google Maps, let's think of Google Maps. And then they have, if you look at the map, it will show you the fastest way to get there, but it'll also show you the most economic way, right? It'll say hey, you go this way, right? Because this green liberal shit that they got going on there. Anyways, okay, sorry, that's another conversation. So anyways, so I think there should be a third way, right? I think there should be a third way. And I think it should be the safe way, right? Like if we know that where tickets and accidents are occurring and we know where the unsafe spots are, they have, this gentleman was telling me, these police reports today, you can look at a map and they can tell you everywhere where they're speeding, where these accidents are occurring. I'm thinking, well, Google needs to create a third way, right? Somebody, especially my wife. My wife is the most safe person on the face of the earth. So I swear. So if she saw that, it took an extra 5 minutes, but it was more safe, she'd take it. You think that's a good idea?
Yeah, I mean, I think so because like right now, I know you've experienced. If you've experienced that, you've experienced what I'm getting ready to say. Where it says, okay, the shortest route's 45 minutes, next one's 56 minutes, right? And you get on the 45 minute because it's gonna be the shortest route, and you get about halfway there, and it says, alternate route option, save 3 minutes in time, and you hit it, it'll re-alter. Like you might be coming up on a conjunction road that's going to somehow tie into the main highway you need to get to. It's literally factoring in as you drive now, as I get closer to that destination, it's still looking for routes to get you there the quickest way since you selected the quickest option.
Right.
I think that's crazy. I've hit that button many times on the iPhone since iPhone, it is what it is, more user friendly. Since the iPhone allows me, it says, would you like to select this 3-minute shorter route now, 25 minutes into my drive? I thought it's pretty unique.
Well, you can tell that Heath Sharon works for Vertifor. He's over here pitching their commercial submissions over there. I mean, the dude works for it, right? I mean, yeah, you got to throw it out to him. I mean, he doesn't throw. And plus, I'm a fan of Big Orange, right? I'm not now. You, if you didn't see our video, go check it out on LinkedIn. AI takes NetView because Applied. Vertifor might have the best system, but Applied throws the best conference for the education and stuff. I'm challenging NetView because I want it to be the best too. I'm challenging it out there. Here's some more things. Commercial submissions. Yes, here's some other things I want to get some conversation going. You hear that this is the best time to be in insurance. Mitch, I'm going to ask you, but I'm going to ask all the loyal listeners out there, the loyal live listeners, and also the loyal recorded listeners at a later time. I want to ask you, why is today the best time to be in insurance? And then the second question, which I don't want anybody to answer it yet, is why does it suck to be in insurance right now? But let's start with the best. Why is this the best time to be in insurance, Mitch?
I think it's a question per people's age, but for me, it's because of my age. I mean, whether I do this job as an insurance producer or professional half-ass, or even at 75%, I'm doing it better than majority of people my age because there's very few of us, right? Like just playing that, Hanley's the one that always talks about play the long game, play the long game, play the long game. For me, that's exactly how I feel. It's like, I'm in this in such a young age. I've been doing it for 6 years, and daggone, there's still nobody like us, like me around here. Just the opportunity, the availability of opportunity to not go away is in my opinion, kind of cool. Plus, I love the technology aspect of it. I get to see the old school. I got to see the old school style of things, man. But I will tell you, the tech is great, but they mesh. I don't think that they will not mesh. I think that's always going to be a thing. The tech and the agent, the tech and the producer are always going to mesh or have to make it mesh for it to work for everybody. And that goes back into just creating a good customer experience. So for me, the age I'm in, and then two, the understanding of what it takes to be a good salesperson, the handshake, the gentleman's handshakes, the dressing right, and that stuff, right?
Keep those comments coming, but this is why this is so great, is we can go right into breaking news here, right? See, this is why I love this podcast. So breaking news, I actually saw this morning. It's something that I was going to talk about at the end, but let's do it now. Brought into us by the one and only Steve Moore over here. Breaking news, if you talked about already, Now Search is merging with, it looks like they have a strategic partnership, which is then leading to a merger, if my memory serves me correct. And I think that's interesting. And I have to say this, Insurance Gig has a great thing out there. I've heard about them, but here's the thing. I guarantee you 9 out of 10 agents would tell you, I have no idea what the hell they do. I have no idea what they do or how they do it or anything. I think they make things work where things aren't supposed to work. If I'm correct, it might be like a Zapier for insurance, but that's a terrible way to explain it. But I think that they have capabilities that are pretty good. Is anybody using Insurance Gig out there? If you're using Insurance Gig, not like, yeah, I have it. Like if you're using it in a little bit of a way, be sure to reach out to Mitch. Mitch will put it up there, and you come in and tell us what Insurance Gig is like, because we have no idea what it's like. So you put it in there, boom, we'll bring you on. You can be on video. You can keep your video off and be on audio. I don't know why you would. I mean, not very often do you get on with two sexy gentlemen like this. I mean, no matter what. I mean, there's a lot of sexiness going around over here. So, for commercial submissions. We getting anybody that's coming over there?
I got one. Luke Royal. He just sent me his email and his name from Smart Choice Agents. When I ask him anything specific he wants to chat about, maybe he'll join us for a few seconds here.
Yeah, well, I want to find out if anybody knows about this Insurance Gig, if there's anything talking about. I mean, we're just trying to cut loose out here. It looks like that Jeff Roy is in the green room. I can see you. So thank you, Jeff, if you're watching this, for actually showing up on time. God, I'm going to get Ryan. Oh, this is going to be so good.
And we can even go right into Jeff if he would like to. And we can even get right into Jeff if Ryan's going to be dragging.
Has anybody sent anything on the Insurance Gig thing?
Not on the Insurance Gig thing yet.
Probably the reason why I don't know about them. I just don't know a lot of people that are using them.
Got this nice little cool little comment there. Innovation in the industry brings opportunity for those willing to change. Great time to start due to a swift uptick in AI tools.
Correct. My buddy Joshua Goodman, executive director, or he worked for the Big Eye Association. He was at Indie Tech with us, Mitch. And he told me, he said, Cass, he said, I think I'm getting back in the industry. And I said, well, you are in the industry. He says, no, agency. And I said, really? He said, man, I loved it when I got out. He said, but I was waiting for this, you know, and all this technology and the things and how he can see the customer experience coming together. Excuse me, everybody. Man.
Luke Royal, if you're listening, you want to hop on and if you want to discuss, I would love if someone wanted to discuss the insurance gig merger. If anyone wants to chat about that, shoot us a message. You can shoot us a message here, 317-586-2456. Send me your email address, and just let me know if you would like to join the show.
You want to go ahead and bring Jeff in?
Jeff, I think that's the way we do it. Let's just get Jeff hopped on here and let's talk about the innovation in AI. And, you know, you talk about bringing absolutely electricity to our industry. Mr. Jeff Roy, what's going on, brother?
Happy Halloween.
Brother, how are you, sir?
Good, guys. How's happy Halloween to my American brothers from another mother? How are you doing?
Yeah, it is. It's a good time. We're having a good time here. I mean, we chose the 31st, and if people know how scatterbrained I am, when I really chose it, I didn't even realize it was Halloween. It was like 2 months ago, and I just like, yeah, October 31st. Then my team decided to tell me a couple of weeks ago that it was. I'm like, oh yeah. So
that's awesome.
But yes, Jeff. Hey, thank you very much, man, for joining us. I think that it's in the last 2 or 3 years, you've been so busy building this empire that you have north of the border that I don't think people have seen you as much in America as they did maybe in 2018, 19, 2020. Wouldn't we say that's fair?
I couldn't get out of the country for 2 years during COVID, so
that's what I mean, right? Yeah.
It was hard.
Yeah.
And then I just don't get out as much as I used to. I still have to do my day job. A lot of things changing, so it's nice. I got away quite a bit this year. Got to a few events, which is great. Got caught up with what's going on in the U.S. and it's really good to see connectivity and stuff starting to rise to the surface down there, and rating solutions coming out, and it looks like things are starting to improve.
It is starting to improve slowly but surely. You know, the main mission here was always to create forward momentum and change in the greatest industry God ever created by giving a voice to those who have no voice. By creating this podcast and having people like you and everybody we have, we're pushing this agenda and we keep it going. And so I appreciate it very much. So, Jeff, you were one of the very first mastermind members that I had back in 2015, 2016. You're still in there. And that's why I was fitting to. A lot of people don't know your story about how awesome you are in the leads. And so I want to kind of talk about that just for us. We just lost him. Anyways.
He's back. He's back at it.
There you go. I went backstage again. Somebody must have shown up.
Yeah,
Hanley must have shown up, and Hanley probably showed up to trump me. So
no, Hanley still hasn't showed up.
He's done.
I think he got caught. Have you seen how he's hitting the the bag sideways? I think he got caught in there, and his arm is like stuck right now in the bag. And I hope somebody there walking around that track by that bag he always hits is going to stop and help him, because he is playing for this thing.
Yeah.
So anyways,
well, you could have been missing the link like me. I was missing the link, so maybe you couldn't find it either. So
no, we're not going that way. They're not going that way. So whoa, my fault. I'm just hitting some buttons here because I don't know the technology.
Yes, let it go, brother.
So really real quick, Mitch, if you would, let's talk about the digital insurance pint. So that is something that you have. A lot of people don't realize after they find out how awesome you are in the next 5 to 10 minutes, they're going to want to find out about that. And so we have the digital insurance pint. Which is tell us a little bit about that, and that's a very good podcast.
Yeah, it was good. My some good friends, Tom Reed, you'll see on the left. He's the voice of reason, and he tries to rein Adam Mitchell. You can see the second from the left, and Steve Earle, myself, all in. We all met as digital brokers through Aviva back in 2017, and Tom had brought a bunch of the top digital brokers in Canada together. And during COVID, we didn't have anything else to do except have the odd beer, complain about what's going on. So we thought, hey, we'd build a podcast. And the whole idea of the digital insurance pint came about is at a convention, all the best ideas always happen at the bar after the event. There's a lot of great content. We all have a bunch of notes, but it's when you're sitting down with, say, a Billy Wagner or Chris Paradiso or somebody chatting about stuff, or Jason Cass or Mitch Gibson, just saying, hey, can you tell me a bit more about that? Or, hey, here's what I'm doing. That's when a lot of the ideas spark. So that's why the idea of the digital insurance pint is, hey, let's have the conversations people have away from the actual conferences and actually be honest and raw. So we're about to start season 7 right now. We just do 10 episodes a season. We're not trying to do 3 million episodes and compete with some of the other podcasters that can completely crush stuff out. We just want to do some quality stuff. And yeah, we've been doing it since 2020.
Man, that is awesome. And so I know because obviously it's on the network. I see how many downloads it gets, and it's fantastic. I love watching it, and it's just so different how sometimes whenever you're trying to think about connectivity and the way that you guys have access to your data and we don't, it's just kind of interesting. I want to go over to Excalibur though. Excalibur is something that you have been from the very beginning using the word Excalibur Insurance. You have had a plan on that. Tell us about how you created that story to where you are now, to the leads that you get. I think that when people will be amazed how you quote and the amount of lead that you have that you intake.
Yeah, just quickly, Excalibur Group. I set up a cluster out of university. I came into my dad's brokerage. He had 1 employee and 3 companies. So I guess each of us had 1 company, and we were very small. So I had to figure out, hey, we got to get some markets. So we set up a cluster. We did not have a name for the cluster, and the night before, a show called basically the Excalibur came on. Basically, the story of King Arthur, and I'm like, man, Excalibur. That's a perfect name for a brokerage. I'm going to basically, I think we should call it Excalibur because everybody sits around the table, honesty, integrity, everybody's equal. I thought it was a perfect name. So I pitched it. Everybody voted in favor of it. I'll be quite honest, I didn't have a lot of competition from the other names, but we went with it. And then fast forward into early 2010, 2011, we started trying to get our brand out there. We started going digital, and we started trying to build our marketing and brand. And I will at times I have a presentation about how to live your story that I did down in Utah and I did in Chicago at IAOA, that I actually explained how we built our brand and our story up. But over that period of time, we built a solid brand, and we started getting really detailed on digital. And now, we generate approximately 800 to 1,000 leads a month organically, and we've got a sales process to bring those leads up. And I could probably spend literally 35 minutes explaining all the little details, but there's a copy of our latest website. And I don't know how many people thought back in the day, Jason, you're probably guilty, that, hey, I got my website done. I don't have to do anything for 5 years. It's all good, right? Now
Right.
it's like, I got my website done. I don't have to do anything for 5 minutes. And
Jeff,
if you
this
look,
dude,
yeah.
this site is just amazing, dude. I'm
It
in
is.
I'm in awe.
If you guys are listening to the audio, you should go watch the recording because the video because this is a sick site. It is.
Yeah, we just prior to this, actually, and I always say, in God we trust. Everybody else bring data, and none of my team, luckily, has not met God yet, so they better have pretty good data. And last year, we were converting for every 100 visitors to the site, 8 people were getting a quote, and I define that as losing. I was very disappointed. Our team was disappointed, so we took it back and we said, hey, we got to get this number. And I threw a number out. I want 20 per 100, and we're currently about 15 to 16 with our latest site version. So there's a lot of things we do on our site. I have a report every 2 weeks that comes into me, 19 pages that my web guy goes through in detail of how it's performing. I just don't leave anything to chance. So it took us a long time to build a brand and get the website up, and we continually, you just don't build it and let it go. It's kind of like a lawn. You have to maintain it. You got to water it, got to fertilizer it, and the game's always changing. So we're trying to, have a good brand and make people click, and also make sure everything loads really well. And we've had some pretty good success with it.
People are coming into your site, they're getting quotes, and as they're on the site putting in their information, you're able to connect right to them, aren't you?
Not yet.
Not yet?
Our good friend Sharif from Trufula has built a thing called True Market. I know he met him at your conference in
Yep.
Indianapolis in August. I was out at Amplify, and I just spent 3 days with him at our broker convention. The Digital Insurance Pint was lucky enough to host the BIP Talks, and we had 7 talk speakers that did a 20-minute presentation, kind of like, I call it like TED Talks on steroids. We filtered a bunch of people through, but we got to hang out with Sharif, and he's launched a product into the market that's going to be available in a few months. That if somebody's doing a quote, we can take over that quoting experience live. And
Yep.
my latest stat I've been geeking out on is they say after a minute your close ratio drops 800%. So that's pretty significant. It used to be
800?
800% after a minute. That's the
My
latest stat.
lands.
So I used to be like, hey, we got to try and call people back 5 to 10 minutes. I don't think that's good enough anymore. So we have to go a whole level on like, how do we take people over in real time? His new technology will allow people to do that, which I'm excited to see how it works. One of those things I always tell people: launch, fail, learn, fix. You got to try some things. Everything's not going to work perfect. I've got a lot of stories where I threw money at stuff and I got taken, or it was a bad investment, but it helps make you smarter for the next time. So, yeah.
Hey, Jeff, let me ask you this. You're pretty tech, I guess, minded individual. Advanced. I look up to every single thing you say. That's just me. But with that being said, do you know anything about this insurance gig, now Certs merger? That's breaking big news now in the
It's
insurance
funny. I
industry
just
there?
quickly went to the website and I'll be honest, I'd never heard of Insurance Gig. Had not really reached my radar at that point. It looks like, what is it, a store for APIs for insurance where you can go in with your shopping cart and buy APIs? Like, I saw premium financing in there. I didn't know what else was in there. When I was in your waiting room, I didn't know much about Insurance Gig. I don't think they're in the Canada at this point. It's an InsurTech or a vendor that has not reached my radar. And I usually hear, I'm fairly knowledgeable on what's going on in the U.S. and Canada, but I've never heard of them. So,
Well, I
to be
think
quite
it, I
honest,
think it, and no disrespect to whoever it is, I don't think it's a big company. I think there's maybe 1 or 2 people, and where they're really smart is I think they're in the insurance industry. They're really good at getting the things to connect where they just can't. But I don't know where that's the difference between what these other places that we're starting to see pop up a lot now. So once again,
yeah.
I think just for Insurance Gig to know, if we don't know about it, we can't help you. Get it's not for the consumer, and maybe it's more for the
Well,
corporate
looks
level.
like you can go shopping and there's APIs in there, and I saw premium financing. So I guess if I wanted to get a premium finance company, plug it into my BMS, or in the
Okay.
US you call it AMS, or some other system, I think there's the ability to do that, right? And I don't know if it's like Zapier for the insurance industry. You kind of look at it, but it looks like they've got some APIs to consume, which, hey, great if it helps your business and your
Sure.
brokerage. Most agents can't consume APIs. They rely on their BMS vendors or CRM vendors to do it. And so that's, if your vendor does it, or again, some people can consume them, but in my experience, a lot of agents don't have the chops to do it, right?
No, they don't. Now let me ask you this: how many leads do you get a day? Would you say in your agency? You probably know.
Well, we try somewhere between we get about 13 to 1400 a month. So what, it just reverse back that 30. So it's like 35 to 50, somewhere in that range. It varies, but
And are you paying for those, or those come organically? Are you?
majority of our stuff comes organically. We do have one aggregator we've used for a bit, and they have a good access to home insurance leads. We struggle. It's very difficult to get home insurance leads. It's funny, but people's homes will go up 4 or 5%, and they won't shop it, but yet their auto will go up 1% and they'll shop it, right? So there seems to
Mhm.
be, I find, at least in Canada, majority of the traffic still is auto driven. 85 to 15% kind of as a ratio. How do you find it in the US? I know you're more commercial, Jason, so you're more into the big mid-sized to larger accounts. So
I
maybe that's something it's not something you're in tune with, or it's not part of your niche. But that's kind of what our experience been in Canada. It's just really hard to get, the referral networks like the Billy Wagners have built, and GNN Insurance to get in front of the mortgage lenders, that kind of
Mhm.
stuff. I still think that's some of the best ways to
I
generate
do too.
stuff. We have a bit of that stuff going too. We got some referral networks set up, but not to the extent they do. That's always something we'd like to do better at, right?
Billy said to me one day, Billy Williams said, Jason, why do you market to many when you could market to one who knows many?
Yeah,
And
100%. It's
that
good to
that
get.
was big to me at that point in time. Like, I'm trying to write all this content to get homeowners. Well, why don't I just go to the person who deals with the homeowners for other people and get them? And that was kind of an eye opening.
Dr. Billy Williams is one of the smartest guys I know. I just bought his new book on closing. I just
I
saw it
have
launch.
not yet. I have not, and I need to.
It's in my Kindle. It came out on Friday. I downloaded it. I have not looked at it yet, but it's on my to-do list for this week.
It's there, babe. It's there. It's there. Last thing, man. Where's the great hope? Where's I know you, Jeff. You sit around and you think about things way more than you probably should. You drive the wife nuts, but that's okay. What's cool now with this technology that you think, wouldn't it be fucking cool if I could do this in 3 to 5 years? And I probably can with the way things are going. Have you thought of anything outside the box like that for your agency?
Well, I'm thinking more 3 to 5 minutes. I don't have 3 to 5 years. Look how old I am right now, right? So
That's very true.
so I have to look at it, and I have to live my life in dog years. 1 year is like 7 years. So I think the big thing I want to really focus on. AI. I've used this quote. AI will not replace agents. Agents who use AI will replace those who don't. We've talked about that, but I'm really big on. I want to understand AI applied to voice. And I want the more analysis on the sentiment analysis. I wanted to pull scripts out, and there's different solutions out there. AWS has got some stuff you can bolt it into your VoIP system. And Blue Butler just announced something at the Applied Net last week. So I'm just trying to figure out what's the best solution out there that I can use for training purposes to look at quality of phone calls, for training purposes and get better insight. That's one thing I think we can do a better job of that part of the thing. Or that part of the business, because we still, even though video is important, everybody's still using phones predominantly. You haven't seen a lot of things go right to video. And the other thing is a digital virtual assistant. I call it a DVA. And I'm just working on that. I think the way things are going is you're going to have 6 different tools to do in the US you call it process. I call it process in Canada, but to work on your processes. And again, you can start off with your CRM, your BMS, your AMS as tier 1, tier 2, your CRM, tier 3, you've got robotic process automation, tier 4 is your digital virtual assistant, tier 5 is your VA. And the last thing you've got is your people, your staff. So you've got those 6 different opportunities to get your process in place. The brokers that only have 1 or 2 options are going to be, have a tough time competing with those who have 5 or 6 of those happening, because they can pick the solution that gets them the best productivity, efficiency, and keep their expenses low. So I think that's kind of got my brain thinking right now. I'm just trying to figure out what's the best tool for the job. And as technology improves, some of these tools are getting better. And I'm hoping we can plug the DVA, digital virtual assistant, into my phone and actually have conversations with people after hours, get information, and get it to a high enough quality. I think that's going to help us provide some better service and extended hours. So those are some things on my radar. Nothing too sexy and cool, but just some things I wanted to share.
I love that. Let me ask you this. You talked about training. This last thing, the voice thing is incredible. What are you using to train? Like, do you have, there's people that use the Microsoft intranet piece of the puzzle. There's different training modules and things that people use. What are you guys using? Are you guys using anything like that to train new agents, new CSRs, whatever that looks like?
I'm not using it yet, but that's the one thing I really want to get into, building, a better academy and training experience. And then more importantly, have AI tools to go and audit stuff and pull it back in and catch people. Hey, so I forgot to ask this part in the script, or I forgot to do this. There's little things like that to get better, because we're at the point where every little thing is going to matter in the future, right? You can't afford to be bad because our competition's getting better. So we have to get better. And, what I did last year is not going to be good enough next year. That's how I always tell my people, hey, we had a great year, but that's last year. It's like Michael Jordan celebrated for a day and he was training the next day. He's on to the next thing. So we got to keep moving and hustling, because our competition's out there ready to eat our lunch. And I see a lot of companies having bad results right now. And I feel that Canada, same thing. There's challenging results. Companies are trying to get proper rate. They're dealing with a lot of different elements out there. So it's very trying times, but there's no better time for an agent or a broker to help people navigate these stormy waters.
Yes, and also there's no better time for us to actually get like real, right? So let me say, okay, if 45 to 55% of the revenue that we spend, our expenses, have to do with the people that we employ, there's no better time to be an agency owner, because we for once can start cutting into that. So it's a progression of where we're going. And I'm not speaking to you here, Jeff. We've had all these conversations millions of times, but the licensed person and the tasks they were doing, the VE ate into that, right?
Yeah.
But there was a limit to how much the VE could actually get in there. So you can train a CSR endlessly, but you can only train a VE so far because they can't have a license, right? Well, now we have that third character that's coming in, which is called RPA, which is called AI, which is called automation, that is now coming in and is eating the VE's jobs.
Yeah.
The issue being is that you can't, the VE has a ceiling. They can only be trained so much, right? So what that starts to tell me is that today we have an abundance of VEs with little automation. But as we go through the next year to 3 years, you will start to see where automation will start to be income of an increase, and you will see less VEs. I think you will always have to have VEs because there will always be things automation can't do, but someone needs to manage the automation. That's what we're seeing in our agency a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, Mitch can set up and Mitch can run AAZ, but he's got other things to do. But it still needs Lordland. It still needs Earl to be able to manage that AZ, to be able to help him. So if something goes wrong and they need to alert Mitch or something.
I think with AI, one of the big things will be assisted conversations. So your team will be on the phone with somebody and it'll suggest what should be done. It'll read things your people won't read. It'll understand what personality type to mirror, that kind of stuff. The prompting, the real-time prompting, that'll be where things, that's kind of, as Wayne Gretzky would say, puck's going there. Some of the top companies in the world right now, I'm sure Geico's already doing it, right? And the agents aren't doing that at scale. That puts us at a disadvantage. So we need to get those tools yesterday. And you know, unfortunately, some of the states, people are still trying to rate a policy, and they got to go into 10 portals, which drives me crazy how bad the rating is in some states. But companies like Gaia, there's some other different coding companies coming out that are really trying to push the industry and help, you know, help that connectivity. So I think in the US, the big thing you guys need to really work on is get one voice as agents, talk to your carriers together, sit down with the Cord, sit down with Ivans, and speak with one voice, because you guys are way too fragmented down there. I've talked to Chris Klein, a few people about that. And it sounds like when you guys get your stuff organized down there, and I know there's 50 states and there's a lot of regulations, but you guys can do it. There's some strong voices that you get, and there's some really smart people. You just got to get everybody in the same room and fight the good fight. And I think that's I think you guys are lining up to do next. I hope so anyway. So.
Hey, you sound, I know, I appreciate how nice you sound, but that's because you're from Canada and we're Americans, so we're not that as nice down here. But hey, Jeff, we do greatly appreciate you, buddy. Thanks for coming in and everything. Thanks for being part of our first show. We butchered it. And I also have to say, while he's on as well, I have been messaging with Hanley. Hanley told us 100% my fault that we did not send you the link. At the same time, Jeff, Ryan, I don't know what else to do. Marisa sent it 3 times. I sent it 2 times. I don't know. I guess I don't know. But anyways, I apologize.
Yeah, I followed up an hour early and I got it, right. So I made sure I had it. I just assumed it was in the invite, and I noticed it wasn't. And
my fault,
luckily there was an hour difference. So anyway, guys, Mitch, Jason, thanks very much.
Thank you, brother. Keep crushing it, Jeff.
Yeah,
we're learning.
Boom.
Boom. That's our boy Steve right here from the Index. See, we go right in, we go right out, but don't go out, because are you in? The Index, baby, the Index. All right, so hey, real quick though, Mitch, before we get into this goofball, we got anybody, is there any comments out there? Anybody wanting to come on and say something or join us, or anybody out there?
You know, nothing really too major. I mean, we got the word love in our comments. We got the word fantastic. We got the word crushing the live show. I mean, other than that, we got Steve Moore. I don't know what could make this a little bit better.
I don't know. Someone said, hey, do you guys know anybody that looks like Alec Baldwin? And I was like, here, let me call you.
Let me ask you this question. You got a producer for the show, right? You guys, you know, there's like producers that get on television shows, and I'm sitting here looking at my screen, and it's like moving you guys are seeing it live here, or just a minute ago, of like our orientation of our people. And I'm like, what's going on? Cass is back here trying to switch buttons like he knows what he's doing. That's what's going on. So I just wanted to be clear that we all understood that was not the producer's issue. That was.
And then I couldn't get it back, so I just kept clicking.
I'm like, dude, you're about to make me like pass out here.
Mitch, all we can see is your hands flying around anyway, man. So it's all good.
Good. I appreciate it. Next topic. Let's go. Let's talk.
That shit was funny. That shit was funny. All right, so check this out. So I got my man Steve Moore on here. And yes, he does look like Alec Baldwin. Let's just get that out on the table right now. Yes, I mean, it's just not how it is. But and you guys laugh right now, but we'll be like playing putt-putt and stuff, and people are just coming up and bothering us. And it's just like, God, jeez Louise, Steve. So anyways, but it's something we do.
Given.
Steve, we did a podcast recently, and I wanted everybody to come in. This was going to be our tech time that was supposed to be at 12:30, but it was our fault that we didn't do it at 12:30. We're really flying by the seat of our pants here, Steve. But the point is we're still at 38,000 feet, so we're still at cruising altitude. So I want people to know about you, and here's the reason why. Let me set it up so you can tell us about it, because you're not as exciting as I am when I tell it. So let me tell it. So the thing is that Steve has created a spot, think of the insurance index, where you can go and find out anything about insurance, okay? And for instance, when I hired my young producers, they came to me and said, hey, where's some technology that we could use for this or for this? And at the time, they were asking me Loss Run Pro. And I'm like, I don't really know. And I remember going to LinkedIn and typing like claims history. I'm trying to find somebody that's got something in their name that has to do with Loss Run Pro. Got lucky and found them. But with this place like this that you're seeing here on the screen right now, the insurance index, this now is a spot. And I'm telling you, folks, what Steve is working on here is really, really good. I'm going to turn it over to Steve, but I want that Steve is a friend of ours. And when he first told me about this, I got to be honest with you, I did not think that it was going to do anything. But as he built it out, it's fucking awesome. That's all I got to say. Steve, tell them about the insurance index.
Absolutely, man. No, and it's funny you say that, because I think I even told some people, I'm like, yeah, I talked to Cass about it. He was supportive, but he's not quite seeing the vision, and it's taking a little bit of time. But I think you're kind of seeing it. And to be totally transparent, when I started it, I didn't have a clear vision, right? I knew there was a need for this information out there. How do you package it? How do you present it? And I'm still working on that. But the general premise is, you've got all these different categories out there. You've got a bunch of associations and networks. You've got the technology. You've got these podcasters. Events are a huge thing. And we're really working on bringing all that into one single spot for agents to access, and then also bring vendors together to be able to share that information as well. And, it's just kind of taken on a life of its own for sure. The events calendar, I feel like, is the best one out there. It continues to grow. Job section is something I'm still in the process of getting going, but yeah, it's just been an exciting run, and we've got a couple really exciting things coming up. So
I like it where you can see all the events. How many people out there want to see all the events? Like, hey, what events are going on? And then not what events, what are they? Right? What are all the AMSs that are out there? It's more than just Vertafore Applied, right? What are some of the phone systems that are out there? What are the CRMs that are out there? Where can I find some stuff for hiring, right? Where do I find accountants that just do? I mean, think of all of these things, agents, that we think about every day, and you really don't. What do? We call somebody who probably doesn't have a damn clue anyways. This is what Steve has really created here, and I really applaud you for it, Steve. Steve, you got about a minute and a half. This is just tech time. You say what you say, and then we get you the hell out of here. You got anything else that you want anybody to know about your product?
Yeah, no, I think the website is in its first version. It is, a directory in its living state right now. We are working on version 2, where you'll be able to get a lot more granular on your searching. Like, I want to go to an event in November that Jason Cass is speaking at, or I want to go to an event in California, just a little more. And then you kind of alluded to it earlier, I want an AMS that integrates with this VoIP system and this CRM. So now you're not getting a list of 40 AMSs. You're getting maybe the 3 to 5 that work with those two technologies. And then, I don't know if you're kind of ready to talk about how we're going to kind of help get in there with the potential mastermind, but we can certainly touch on that. Just kind of as Jeff alluded to, there is a need to bring together this industry in a way that it just isn't now, especially on I would say the service provider side. I try and avoid the vendor word, but partnerships or service providers, and bring collectively together and push some stuff out. So I think there's going to be some exciting announcements coming soon about that.
There are.
One of the big finds I had through doing this, yes, agents need this information, but vendors and companies do as well. Oh yeah, Heath's got to get his little shout out there. So
let me ask you this. I do have one real quick question before you get out of here. Can you explain the little cool logo IN? Why is that next to some of them and aren't on all the other?
Yeah, so it's, as I build and evolve the site, Jason kind of alluded to, are you in? Kind of the main premise on the site is everyone is listed for free. It's obviously really tough to throw it out there, and then those that respond or confirm their listing and say, hey, yes, or they update it, they'll be in, right? So that just shows that, hey, the company's visited the site, they've provided updated information. And we plan on evolving that quite a bit. The ultimate vision is you're walking around at a conference and the vendors have a little, I'm in logo, or maybe even on the attendees badges, they're in, and it really just becomes its own little kind of thing. So that's the general premise there.
Steve, I greatly appreciate it. You know that I'll have you back when we announce the what'd you say, service?
The industry partner mastermind.
That's right. It's going to be a fantastic time, and it's going to be awesome even for the champions. I'm really excited about that.
Yep.
So the one and all, but Nate, thank you very much for your time. If anybody wants to find out more stuff, what's the website real quick they can go to?
Yes, sir. If they want to go to the website to find more stuff, they go to the insurance index. Well, I didn't have a prepared one for that one.
Okay. We'll put it up there.
But if you just give me 2 seconds, you'll be able to see it just like it does right now on the bottom.
Steve, thanks for taking your time, dude, to put this shit together. We need it. Okay?
Love you guys.
See you, brother. All right. Now, he said that he's here, but I don't see him, so we'll have to wait. Now we're gonna wait for Davey Holt to come on here. I do not see him on the side yet. He's got to click on the link that I sent him in the email. But what I do want to talk about is some M&A activity out there. It has to do with M&A activity. So what do you guys see out there? I got to tell you, I have agencies that are calling me and saying, hey, I'm interested in selling. I guess the market is putting the overall pressure on them. And I think a lot of you are saying this. I was talking with Bradley Flowers probably about a week ago, and he was talking about the M&A activity he has and people reaching out to him saying, hey, I want to sell. And it's not necessarily that they want to get out. It's just that, hey, they want to sell to somebody else. They just want to sell. That's all they want to do. I mean, even some situations, all I want to do is service. I don't want to do the sell anymore. So I think that a lot of stuff out there when it comes to this. And I'd love to get some questions if you could. It has to do with M&A activity. What are you seeing out there? Are people reaching out to you? Are you one of the people that maybe is looking at possibly merging? Maybe there's somebody on this that's watching that could possibly help you.
No comment yet, but so far it's my favorite comment. Yes, I'm a plant loving human being. Got some bamboo right here. I love plants. Everybody makes fun of me for when they come over and hang out at my house. They're, look at all your plants. You didn't decorate. I did actually decorate. I'm just I've got a green thumb, I guess. Love indoor plants. Make me feel fresh. So appreciate that, Billy. Appreciate that greatly. No. As far as you're talking about with, I want to go back to Jeff Roy's for a second, dude. Like to hear that he's been like using the robotic processes, automation, RPA, and has been using it for like 2 years. You're almost 2 years, maybe 3 years now. Is insane to think about. That, even him in Canada, they've established something up there way ahead of time than we have, and it's amazing to see the success. It's good to see that, because that means it's coming to us here in the near future. But if you don't have agency management systems and CRMs and DocuSigns and all that jazz, I mean, how are you gonna survive against the Jeff Roys of the world, right? And like you said, it's not going to replace the agent. The agent who uses the technology will win and replace everybody else. And I think that's super true.
Yeah. Hey, Mitch, I'm just going to tell you, because this is what we do is butcher this. Is there any way you can send the link to Davey? I'm sending the link to him, and he says it's taking him to LinkedIn. I'm wondering if somebody has just, I don't know. I can't seem to get emails to be sent to the right person.
No worries. Davey, I'm going to send you a message via LinkedIn, bro.
So he's going to be sending this over. And the other thing is I can't see the damn chat, so I can't necessarily respond to any of the people that are out there and whoever might be out there. Oh, American Alliance. Oh, Alliance Insurance Services, my man Christopher Cook or somebody from his office. There's an interesting concept out there with some aggregators. Never thought of it before. But some folks are selling portions of their books to the aggregator as an effort to take some of the wow. So there's portions of it, huh? And I guess you could do that, especially with like the technology of like a cake or something. Yeah, people who are looking to buy, right? So I could, like a cake, you could sell like a piece of it, right? So I guess why do you necessarily have to have a software program to do that? I'm assuming that's our buddy Christopher Cook.
It is.
But yes. Buying here used to be an automatic way to, and then was that Miss Mosher says buying here used to be an automatic way to obtain appointments in Florida. That's not the case anymore. It's a bad time to buy that we're in. Wow. Yes, I could definitely probably see that.
Really selling a share of the business is what's happening.
It's true. Huh. Yeah.
Interesting.
That's interesting. Cookie, you need to come on and tell us about that. Are you in front of a computer? We send you the link. Oh no, wait a minute. Here's the other one. We got somebody else already in here.
That's Mr. Oh, put your hands together.
How you doing, brother?
How you doing? I'm good. I'm spooky. I'm spooky today. I'm dressed up today as a president of a company today.
All right. Yes. Wow. What an exciting day yesterday was. I mean, dude, that was good stuff. I imagine your phone was blowing up from people just saying, "Wow, hey, what's up?" I couldn't get you on the phone barely yesterday.
Yeah. No. It was very humbling moment for sure yesterday. Exciting. Just really. Jeff mentioned it earlier. You know, he made two really good sports references. Thanks, Michelle. He referenced Gretzky and Jordan, and so I'm trying to live in that greatness, right? I'm trying to be great. Get right to work. Immediately train. Immediately get to work, and let's go. You know, I really appreciate joining this team, and let's go get it.
Well, you know, when you talk about a blue ocean strategy, that's something I like to talk about. You actually can refer back to Gretzky, and he said something the same but different. He said, "Don't go where the puck is, go where the puck's going to be." Right. And I think that's where a lot of people today, especially in the industry you're getting into, are really trying to just go to where the puck is. And it's like, no. We see the progression of where this is going. And if you're just going after a VE today, you're going to be left behind tomorrow. And I think that's part of the vision that you kind of have cast in this whole thing.
Yeah, I just appreciate our like you said, our vision. I think, yeah, what we represent today with virtual intelligence may not be what we represent 5 years from now or 3 years from now. You know, I love that we all have this spirit of entrepreneurship, but we'll be focused on helping the insurance agents that are our customers and soon to be customers, and helping the industry evolve. That's really what the point is. It represents itself today as a virtual employee company, but layered into that is what we're going to offer to people in terms of expertise, workflow, labor dollars, productivity, trying to keep licensed people doing licensed things, as opposed to things that are holding them back in their, in their productivity or their efficiencies. So just excited. I'm excited. It's a cool moment. It's a humbling moment, and really appreciate the love that people have shown me. We're coming. In the words of Deion Sanders, we're coming. We're coming.
We're coming. Definitely. We're coming. I mean, I'll tell you what. I've been captivated by Deion Sanders this whole year. But yeah, there you go. There's the press release. Look at Mitch. This is why everybody needs to have friends and business partners like Mitch. Like, he makes you look good, right? I'm just trying to go on with my looks, Davey. And Mitch is like, dude, you need a lot more. Right?
That is 100% said that. Yeah.
Everyone needs a Mitch. Everyone needs a Mitch with an M. With an M.
I like to call him Gib. But anyways, yes. So, Davey, just appreciate you taking a minute to come on and talk to us and stuff like that. Excited for what the future holds. If anybody wants to reach out to you, they can reach out to you at davey@virtualintel.com, just like they have it here, DAVIE. Any last moments? Any last things you want to say? Did you happen to get your big thing?
What's that?
Did it come to you yet?
No, it's coming. It's coming.
Okay.
They did not make it today. Those folks were really helpful, but just narrowly missed the window. It's coming. Look, that's the point, right? Like you said, people know how to find us, you and I, and our team. But we'll be putting the messaging and the mission and the roadmap out there in terms of what we're trying to do. So we'll have much more ways to contact. Billy asked a question that's related here. Where is a potential site for VAs here in the U.S.?
Where is a potential site for VAs?
Yeah, I'm not sure what he means by a site.
Billy, what do you mean by that? Like actually creating our own VA center here in town to help, or in town, in America, to be able to provide licensed ones? So got to let us know. And Billy, if you want, you can come on. You know, you always are welcome to do that. But,
here's what they said.
Appalachia.
I mean, it does make sense that there is a huge need for, and I think what he's saying is we think of.
Yeah, he came in. He said, I mean, not the Philippines, not Guam, South America.
Okay. I'm sorry about that. Okay.
Where can you create the same situation here? Hey, look, Jason and I have talked about it already. We think that there are a lot of ways to virtual everything. We're really leaning into the virtual element of the company name, you know, virtual everything, virtual everyone. We think there's a lot of ways to really take virtual work in the insurance industry and give it to everyone. Look, there's, you know, you see it with incentives that governments give. In rural America. Look, I think there's not just geographical opportunities. I think there's age demographics. I think there's language barriers that we need to address. Candidly, I think that as all insurance agents across the entire country deal with labor issues, everyone needs to get more creative about where we hire and how we hire.
Right.
You see right now a trend in corporate America of corporations pushing people back to the office. Guess what? That's going to free more people up who are smart, savvy, and ready to go to work. So there will be a need beyond just virtual employees that we're outsourcing. There's going to be a need to facilitate more virtual work throughout the country. And we want to be at the forefront of that. We think there's a lot of, I personally think that the insurance industry as a whole should reach out more to kids in high school. I really do. I think, as I think about my kids who are 8 and 2, it's not when they go to college, it's if they go to college. I don't know if when they're old enough, if it's going to be the right choice. Maybe they should get right into the workforce in a specific industry. In London, that's what they do. They know in junior high, roughly, that they're going to go into the insurance industry because it's such a great career. Maybe we should start recruiting sooner and getting virtual work done earlier as opposed to waiting until someone graduates with a marketing degree.
Bingo.
To fumble around and end up in insurance. So
a great organization that helps lead that through the Big I is the Invest program. That is one of the. I'm not saying that they're rockets or that they're awesome at it, but I think that they do awesome with the resources they're given. It's very hard to talk to people who are freshmen or sophomores or whatever, seniors, about this industry, but they do a very good job of it. And if I'm correct, I think it was applied. Yes, it was applied when we were at that conference last week, Mitch. They made a huge donation to the Invest program.
They did.
And I think that really shocked the shit out of the Invest people, because that's huge when someone like Applied steps up with their money and says, hey, we support this. So Davey, you're right along. You're right along with that. And with that vision, maybe down the road, that's something that we need to make sure we help Invest with, you know? So
agree.
Davey, appreciate your time, man. We're going to close this up.
Before I close shop, since he didn't join our show, he was late or he missed it, I call it an excuse. That's what we call that. We call those excuses. But I need the first thing that comes to your mind when you think of this picture.
I mean,
how manly is Hanley?
Man, I felt pretty good about my comment, right? I really liked that Hanley didn't stop working for the gym, not because he came back. He ate the gym. He's so he literally. I liked my comment, but that's I'm biased.
Hanley didn't stop working for that gym. He doesn't work there anymore because he ate it. Look at him. He's a beast, dude.
Ate it. I'm telling you.
Anyway, David, we appreciate you, brother. Thank you so much, man. Take care. Good, Cass. Well, hey, I know we're 3 minutes over, but if two ADHD people do a show for an hour long and we're only 3 minutes and 50 seconds, maybe 4 minutes over, we'll take it. But we appreciate everybody joining us. Cass, any last thoughts before I close this up here, brother?
They all know what I do because I do it for you. Tell me your thoughts. Tell me your ideas. Tell the world what you have to say. Take it away, Mitch.
For Mitch Gibson, Jason Cass, thank you for joining us on our first ever Agency Intelligence Podcast live. We'll see you next time. Please, if you want to get involved and want to know more about the Agency Intelligence Mastermind, what that is, learn tips, tricks, see what everybody else is doing out in the world in these leading agencies, see that below. Join agencyintelligence.com, join-mastermind. We'll catch you next time. For Cass, Gib, always remember that you can make a difference. We'll catch you next week. Not next week. We'll catch you here soon.